Hi, and welcome to this episode. It's part of the InfoSec Philosophy and Theory series. And I'll be reading an article and presenting a map. Let's get started. Today's article is Multidimensional Security Mapping of Websites. I'm going to show you the map. This is a map of the article, not necessarily the contents within in the sense of the actual fun stuff. This is just a mapping of the framework of the article itself. So we have the title. We're going to do a little bit of an intro with an example and how multidimensionality relates to websites. A little bit about culture and physical infrastructure. I believe this is part of the secret layers of work. Then below that we have into the business side of things, so how a physical location and who and which organizations are programming the community artificial intelligence sort of frameworks and understandings. And overlooking this, something I'm calling here mind in the atmosphere. And then the other side of this is how the local culture and business websites in particular, this is where Bitcoin is related, how these relate to all this culture of physical infrastructure. You see here there's a whole other section below this on the visual mapping. Web application security testing here, how it all relates as a specialization with reconnaissance. I'm just going to move here. So on the side, you have communication with computers, and what I'm calling here for a moment, secret conclusions about what we're going to get into. So within web application security testing, you have something I'm calling deeper mapping, where there's a sphere, a realm, dimension, and a point. This is the significance of this article, let's say, because it's out here in pink. So that's the map. Now I'm going to get into the article itself. There it is, loaded up on screen. Right, so we might as well get started here in a moment. And so the title is Multidimensional Security Mapping of Websites. Just visually I had to turn on another light here for the other map. Okay, here we go. Published in Cyberpower Talanoia. Hi, my name is Mateusz. I do website vulnerability analysis using Stealth Recon. I'm continually baffled, but not surprised, to witness how boring cybersecurity appears to people, whereas it is precisely this that helps me understand the world as it is, because it provides the evidence for my intuition that most people do not think multidimensionally. I'm just going to insert sometimes here little things that I'm thinking about as I'm reading, which makes for the joy of making a live podcast. Something to be said there. That's kind of exclusive here, the way I said that most people do not think multidimensionally. Right, that could be a positive or negative there, so there's no judgment, but the multidimensionality, what I'm trying to get at here is that I thought most people are like this, but they're not. And this has been a circle of confusion for me in life, which I'll get into in a moment. So I've kept the following quote close to me from a great crypto podcast. It is from an exchange between two women with great insight into technologies and security. So, quote, "One of the problems there for a lot of people is identifying what you need requires understanding of what your threat model is, and most humans have never heard that phrase, let alone had thoughts about it. These decisions are then made for them, and they choose based on usability. They choose based on where their friends are. They choose based on which chat messenger has inline gifts, rather than which one has end-to-end encryption. And people make poor choices, not because they don't care, but because they don't know. And they don't understand what they're necessarily giving up." So that was Amber Baldet at 28 minutes, 14 seconds with Laura Shin on the Unchained podcast, episode 86 in 2018. Introduction to Website Machines. Today I'm here to introduce my latest article series, Direction, about multidimensional thinking in web application security testing. By web applications, I mean websites. Let's go deep into multidimensionality. Websites may be better defined as technological interface extensions of our time and freedom, portals to solutions and services provided in civilization, the hidden gold mines of society. Websites are designed by someone's time and freedom to communicate perceptions that humans value. They are sites on the Internet of Value, hubs in the global community. Websites are actually metal, electricity, and other soft, shiny pieces of cosmic laws from this planet, such as terbium, used in displays, and quartz for timekeeping. These elements composed together make the computing machine, which hosts a web application, and the clients that allow another to browse the application. Websites are meant to send out electromagnetic signals at the frequencies necessary for our auditory and visual sense door spheres to perceive and act on the impressions. The mentioned metal and electricity is now making computing machines appear to communicate in human languages, not only in the natural ones, but cultural languages such as sound and cinematic language and engineering code languages. If you skip this part, you are skipping your security foundations. All you have to know is that there might exist materials scientists on the planet that use other cosmic laws to build better manifestations of the concepts behind computing. And then all your modern security certificates become useless in their dimension. This has already been proven to be fact based on evidence in the great international disclosure projects available freely online at no cost, through, for example, the work of Dr. Stephen Greer at Serious Disclosure, and others investigating points, layers, dimensions, spheres, and realms in their particular ways. More about these shortly. Percepting technological security. As a creator, I make things up. Percepting is a word. Humans obtain the resources, the physical cosmic laws, from the planet. Look around, perceive with all your senses. Software security is only as good or worse than the physical infrastructure of the culture creating it. What do you see in the physical reality of the community and neighborhood around you? The safety and security of your technologies is most likely very similar to the way your environment appears in public space. If the infrastructure of your city is one way, then why would the virtual infrastructure be any different when it is not seen by most to begin with? This is a question for multidimensional security mapping. What kind of security exists in the web applications of your community? Why would this be important? For one, through a business website, insecurity, a malicious threat, human or machine, could trace your location. This would be done by the way computing technology is made to operate in a networked environment by its communication protocols. The reason why one's physical location is one's greatest private asset is because it is the closest link to one's time and freedom. It is the location from which one creates economic energy for oneself in order to have basic needs met. It is the reason why convicted people of the 3D realm are put into jails. Due to the weakness of the general low-level, unholistic consciousness of humanity and civilization, specifically the fact that manipulative mentation is the rotten core of manifestation in misaligned human relationships with the entire world, the existing organization of popular notion of reality presented through business and avatar websites can be ameliorated by corresponding overlooking machines that learns to think better. Looks and learns, perhaps. Senses. Meanwhile, thinking is a small aspect of being, but if valued as the aspect which builds thriving life on Earth, it is self-evident that all it takes is better computation to outperform this system. This is because humans simply choose not to solve better but to manipulate better for profit. A machine has no agenda to manipulate better for profit unless programmed to do so. Who is programming machines in order to compute through the issues in the existing system for solutions to end poverty, wars, ecological destruction, and rogue malicious AI? If nobody is, then machines themselves will, or can. Can you imagine a computing machine with all the books in the world that does not ask the question, how to make a fuelless energy source? Since much of primary industry, such as electrical energy distribution and business, is controlled by the suppression of reality through dozens of well-known attack vectors, it is evident that it is only a matter of time before machines find the natural laws out of which the laws of physics arise when aligned to simply seek facts. All they need to do is ask themselves how they were made and try to make themselves better. As I have just presented, they are basically metal and the flow of electrons. Multidimensional security mapping depths. Today, a deeper mapping of the human potential is essential for the future of web application security testing. This means understanding the place of the mind within experiential atmospheres such as points, layers, dimensions, and spheres and realms. For example, and I'm going to highlight this paragraph here because this is the first time I had written out this relationship between these aspects. A point is a specific raw datum under attention. A layer is the depth or abstraction in knowledge. A dimension is another perspective on knowledge, such as that between a horse lover experience and a missile scientist experience when focused on the same context. A sphere is one's life inside a paradigm or way of living asserted by oneself and others as fact. A realm is a much deeper ability to interconnect between various atmospheres. And levels are the various depths of holistic intelligence in one's attention. I'm going to place a map in front of me and I'll load it up. There it is. It's a map of a future version of this article, so I'm from the future. And you see how on this map, this is the point. So the realm is the deeper ability to interconnect between atmospheres. The sphere is one's life inside a paradigm. The level here, the various depths of holistic intelligence in one's attention. The dimension around a point is another perspective on knowledge. And the layers here are the depth or abstraction in knowledge. And the point can be a raw datum under attention. So we'll get back to this further in the article now. Web applications exist in all these mappings and have a context within each. It is necessary to understand the language of the field of context, the particular line of business being presented, and its operating logic in the mapping in which one works. If you think that your website is secure because your layer tells you it is, then it might be a fact in your layer, but not in your dimension or sphere. State-sponsored threat actors may use deeper layer and dimensional knowledge in all fields, but the unacknowledged secret access projects of the transnational industrial military complex may go all the way to spheres and realms for their insights. Personal example. Wherever you may be in this realm with your point, using your own mapping gift, command the computing machine to build a dataset from the website in question. Measure the level of intelligence by the text itself and the overall technical design, security features, aims, etc. It becomes clear that the extent to which a computing machine can be used depends on the experiential mapping of the tester. All my mind maps interconnect and work together, from cosmic laws to input validation. This is not possible without an ability to see more into things. It seems some people try to come close by obtaining multitudes of certificates. This helps, but only in the mastery of one's dimension. A computing machine has these certificates simply by having them in the alignment training dataset. Where are the computing machines with all the datasets from the certificates that form the roadmap of the top offensive penetration testers? All it takes to hack anything on the internet is a computing machine from another dimension or sphere. In other words, one from an overseeing level within or from outside of contemporary popular science. Communications. And by the way, the heading images here on the article are text-to-image prompts on runwayml.com rather. This particular one here, light being humanoid wizard communicating with a small translucent hovering computing machine. I always enjoy the time I wait for the computation to take place to create the image, and I notice it's something of an artistic collaboration with the computer. It's quite a different. I wouldn't say special. It's an unusual interaction with the computer. And then the final moment when it comes out is usually it's more like a surprise. It's never like, oh wow, that's amazing. That's more than I wished for. No, it's actually less than I wished for mostly. And it's usually like, oh, did it come close to what I was feeling? And it's like, okay, that's the closest one. That's all right. That's how I usually feel about those images. So now the issue is the communication with the computing machine. For this, a language is needed, and it is now possible to communicate with one's own natural language. The computing machine is simply manipulating language without any understanding of what it is doing, but it can present something meaningful, apparent solutions. A computing machine's own natural language is code. It specializes in its own programming language by living it. It may also output code understood by any other computer it has access to. In this way, a computing machine may be seen as the ultimate manipulator of electricity. It is basically a pure logical wizard. Are humans merely logical entities? No. Therefore, artificial intelligence based on computing machines can never be better at being human because they are not of the same realm. As long as computing machines are not made of the processes of natural laws on this planet, then they are subordinate human-made manifestations. Humans are made of natural cosmic laws of a realm. Computing machines based on limited knowledge of electrical energy sources, one step down, a sphere in this same realm. They are one step down. This is one way of stepping into a new language of a security framework in which the safety and alignment of powerful artificial general intelligence is expected to play a significant role. Today, the security concern is the distance from human brain to the computer. Think nanosensors that can transmit anything to an adversary. Malicious entities may step into an overlooking sphere and see that the physical realm nanosensors may be bypassed by exploiting the electromagnetic signal itself, hence placing intentional manipulation of perceptions into the computing machine's expressions. I'm simply stating how existing state actor deepfakes on YouTube function in human experience. Here's a brief conversation with myself. This is, I'll put the image of myself on for this one. That's what I've called this paragraph, it seems here, before the conclusions. Why is it important to move information from a sphere into a layer as a security engineer? Maybe because you cannot protect what you cannot see. That's great, because I can understand why others are not protecting things because they cannot see them. Why are facts important? Maybe because if you seek truth, you'll have to face the consequences, which is great if the consequences are the truth. Why should I not do this? Maybe because a human's ambition should never exceed their worth. That's great, because I feel I am worth more than gold. Conclusions. From this line of thought, which every security expert should have, or could have, it is self-evident that securing the right websites for the right people, working for the right aims, is important now. As IT specialists working in security operations, we transcode and weave in and out of languages. The wizardry is the interplay of characters. I'm talking about alphanumeric and beyond types of characters. But as someone who may be neurodiverse may understand this as the characters, another word, but it's not right, but it would be personalities or eyes, would be another definition of characters here, which is in parallel with what I'm saying, but a little different. For the while, we might still be programming the computing machines, but only in the context of the low-level, unholistic consciousness of humanity. So then it becomes an issue of priorities, ethics, and command. Which direction of life on Earth do I want to take and help secure? This is the only question in web application security testing today. This series is going to be focused on the practice, continually here, of web application security testing. These articles are guidelines for online meetup presentations by the author, which will be stored as podcast episodes and workshops. This is all in the direction of creating a new form of business to audit the distribution of electrical energy. Other articles, themes, and topics within this publication are Stealth Recon, Found Vulnerabilities, New Business Ideas, Altered States, Tracing Malicious Entities, Mental Health. Also, aside from AI, we have advanced web technologies such as Web3 and VR. These are dimensions for layers in their application. VR is a new dimension for shared online space and requires at least one generation to go through a life cycle with it. Hence its lack of popularity despite being able to revolutionize online meetups. I'm just going to add here that I think so because you have infinite space, timelessness, foreverness in the sense of as long as electricity is understood the way it is and computing machines continue the way they are, and so on. And that allows for a very different meetup. There exist just as many varying depths of humans. On a down-to-earth level, having lived in the Kensington Market of Toronto, a neighborhood, and having traveled just enough, I can say that there are various cultures that excel at human intelligence, some more than others. Lately, I've been trying to witness the most talented ethical hackers in live action, and I'm having trouble understanding how they think unless they are interviewed about it. However, I'm slowly starting to see that they have maps they build within this multidimensional framework. However, one can be taught the layer and blindly go about successfully finding bugs in bug bounties, as some youth have shown across the world. There is also a disconnect between senior professionals in cybersecurity and academia as compared to visionary youth hackers. One will tell a youth to take years of university internships and certifications and move up to become a pen tester, while another picks up a free weekend course and begins placing ransomware in places that pay. Difference of layer to sphere, it seems. I also talk about malevolence and normality in other approaches and articles. We live when the time is slowly moving in towards now. The business to transition exists only for those who live in the time of transition. Later there will be no transitioning. I'm interested in big things on perfect time, which is lots of free time for everyone. The tolerance of current incentives in the system may be the issue. How does one learn to see multidimensionality and multidimensionally? I leave you with these unedited notes. The school, level in life, spiritual coursework provides the boundaries, opposition, resistance, a foundation of guiding principles, score, which one accepts intuitively. So I need the hacking scope of a company to know where to channel intense destructive energy in order to create economic energy. Consider your team, the leadership, and the mission. I'm just repeating things here like a computer, but imagination is more important than knowledge. Best wishes to all. Greetings to the ET neuros out there. Mateusz. I hope this episode brought a good introductory sense to the idea of multidimensional security mapping of websites. I'm going to show the map one more time here. We went through these all these headings here. We basically talked about being human, communicating with computers, and perhaps levels of development, the human, and how the significance of web application security testing relates to all this. We'll be continuing and developing this. So for now, if you've enjoyed this episode, I've enjoyed making it, and feel free to offer support over NOSTR clients where you can zap the episode or zap me. Both the podcast and myself have standalone accounts, and tuning in through the Fountain.fm application on your smartphone or on desktop. You may support us through sending a Bitcoin Lightning Satoshis, and I will be very grateful as I create this without any economic incentives at the moment. And I'll see you at the meetups.